Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers on my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers. And I am honored. But first, I got to give it up for my co-host today, my girl, my friend, Alise Leslie from one half of the R&B Representatives. How are you, sis?
I am great. I'm excited. I've been hyped all week about this, so let's do it.
Baby, look, I'm looking at that final background because, I love you, Alise. And like I said, I know how you go hard for this debut. You know how you are. Look, I'm about to say. Thank you so much. But here, y'all, today we have a multi-platinum. I mean, baby, this lady is the blueprint of background of vocals. Like, I that's her nickname. I gave you that nickname. Yes, ma'am, I did. She's a multi-platinum artist. Not even that, she is a Recording Academy member, a Dove Award singer and songwriter. The one, the only, Miss Sherree Patrice Brown. How are you today?
Hi, I am great. Excited to be here.
And look, and you know what? Today we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of my girl, the idol.
Woo, woo.
Baby, look, 30 years of Brandy's self-titled debut album. How do you feel today? How do you ladies feel today that today is 30 years today? Like, can you believe 1994, 30 years ago, this album dropped?
I can't even.
Why are
As I was making like the promo videos and I said 30 years, I was like, wow. Because you do 10, you do 15, but 30. That's amazing. For the album to still be going and still resonate and be cross-generational is amazing.
Alise, same question. How do you feel 30 years today? Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited. And I love that Sherree said that it's cross-generational because like there are kids now that like it, but also when it came out, my mom liked it. So it started off with the like appreciation from both sides, which is part of why I really love the 90s musically, because our parents, and for those who were growing up then, our parents also liked it. Yeah. So and sometimes the parents would introduce so it worked out. So I'm excited. 30 years, I'm feeling you make it feel old. 30.
Nothing but a number.
You're
right. You're right.
Oh my God! You know
if you're older, that means I'm old.
Y'all look good though. Y'all look black don't crack.
I mean, you didn't lie. We do look good. No lies were told.
Yeah. We are gonna have so much fun in this interview, and I'm just so excited, Miss Patrice. I want to just give you your flowers. I mean, you mean so much to the culture and what you've done, for 30 plus. Let's be real about that, 30 plus years. You have done so much in the music industry. Your flowers, are truly deserved on the platform. I respect it. And my sis, we're gonna honor you, give you so much love, and celebrate you and celebrate Brandy today. 30 years, good Lord. A 15-year-old that changed the game. Oh my God, you right along.
Wow, yeah.
So before we get started, I want to ask you, how has it been since the pandemic? How have you been since this era of 2020? How have you been?
It's so funny because I've been well. I've been well. I'm the type where hard things are easy and easy things are hard. That's my little creative little superpower that I have. Yeah. So during the pandemic, I was doing podcasts and dropping singles and all the things. It was after the pandemic that I just kind of, what just happened? So I had to actually take a break and for a while and just get myself together. I had a more of an after effect than during that time. Yeah. But yeah, we made it through. Thank God. We made it through. And families got tighter. We discovered things that we could do. I got very familiar with, producing and editing and all the things. Like I said, we're doing podcasts and all the things, having just so much fun. Yeah. We came up with this hashtag, minding my own purpose.
I've seen that. Oh, I love it.
Time. So yeah, that was pretty prominent during that time. Yeah. To just stay focused on what you're called to do. What God, the purpose that God put on the inside of you, to stay focused on that and don't compare it, just mind it and not others.
Amen. I
Yeah.
love that.
Mhm.
At least remind me of your self-care, like you always do your self-care Sundays that you do that. I love and admire what she does for her mantras.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then when I post the pictures, it's selfie care. It's just like
Yeah.
appreciating your own beauty. It's not arrogance or narcissism. It's just saying, oh, I'm pretty dope. I'm pretty awesome. Let me, I feel it. Let me let other people know I feel it, and maybe they can, glean something out there for themselves.
Man,
Yeah.
I love that.
Hmm.
All right, so
Yes.
Miss Sherree, we're gonna get started about who you are as a person, your legacy, and your history of hits and everything that you have done. So I know you are from Chicago, Illinois,
I
and
am.
I know that you had moved to California after that. So I wanted you to talk about how was it living in Chicago? What was the gospel roots and tradition? And now you know, how did you transition from California and get your start in the music industry?
So, born and raised in Chicago, gospel roots, pretty much two parents that were pretty much in ministry. Um, let's see. We did a lot of, I didn't do a lot of singing in the church per se, as like in choirs and things like that, because about the time I got old enough to be in the choir, let me backtrack. My mom was a choir director, so I was under gospel music a lot. And I would go to rehearsal with her, uh, and basically pretty much raised in Antioch Baptist Church.
Right.
And I would just live for Thursdays. That was rehearsal, and then the musicals. So I would literally just take it all in from soprano to alto. That's how I learned parts and harmonies because I could hear everything as a child. It was insane. I could hear bass and drums and all these things. And nobody really knew that I could. They would find out later. But that had a big impact on me, gospel wise. I went to a Christian school. And I guess you would say I lived a guarded life until I got to high school. And so going from Christian school to a public high school was very actually traumatic for me because there was a lot of freedom, to move around. So over the years, singing and music became my safe place. But I had another secret place that was outside of gospel music, which was the radio. Because my parents had decided we weren't going to play anything, only gospel music in the house. So the radio pretty much raised me and gave me different genres to listen to. I wouldn't just do R&B. I'd move over to rock. I'd move over to classical. My mother was a classical pianist, so I would listen to her practice. And I was introduced to jazz in high school by my high school teacher. Her name was Miss Sashne. So she was the one that introduced me to that. Never heard of that, but I had an interest in jazz, and I will find out later that part of my legacy is Gene Ammons, who is a prolific saxophonist who used to play with Quincy Jones and all the things. He had the nickname Jugs and so forth. But I would never meet that side of the family because my mom was adopted, but it was always in us. We wanted to play. I remember my brother and I were just talking about the other day. We really wanted to play the saxophone, and we didn't know why, but it was just embedded in us. So anyway, jazz is like one of my secret passions, but more so contemporary jazz, not the traditional jazz. Anyway, getting back to the gospel roots, I would have when I first got my first independent to choose and be in a choir, it was basically with the Soul Children of Chicago with Walt Whitman. So that's pretty much a really cool choir that I really wanted to be a part of and had the opportunity to sing on their first record. I didn't really get a chance to get major roots with choirs per se. I was like in my uncle's group. I had Dave Hollister and I, we grew up together. We were all in this group together. We had this little childhood group like the Walls family. Called the Seeds of the Righteous. So we would go to church, and Dave was character. He was the leader. He was like literally the Walls group is like a replica of
Y'all.
we were as kids. But that was where I kind of got my gospel roots outside of that. I wouldn't meet a lot of traditional church people, or I don't have the roots like a lot of the other musicians do.
Right.
They were really know me like that. I know, and they don't, and I don't know them. I got my roots established when we moved to California in 1988. My family mother and father had divorced, so it's so funny how God will use your trauma to put you where you need to be. And so that was and that's another workshop. But God was orchestrating all of this to get us to California, and not knowing that is where I needed to be for him to fulfill my dreams and the desires of my heart, because I always wanted to be on Star Search. Didn't know how I was going to get there. I was this girl on the south side of Chicago, had no clue how this was going to happen, but I just knew that I was meant to sing. And so all of the studying that I had been doing, the records, and learning the background parts and learning how to use different tones in my voice and memorizing parts and instrumental parts, it all paid off. And about the time I got in the studio the first time, I was just going there and knock it out. Because it was like, oh, that's what that is? Oh, okay, let's do this. So that was the beginning of my foundation. And right after high school, I went right to the industry of writing and doing demos.
Yeah. What are some of the like early demos that you can remember that you were a part of? If you can.
No. I'm just thinking because
I'm just teasing.
Well, that's weird because I met like Damon Thomas when I was 18. Damon Thomas and the Underdogs, and so I would do their demos, and everybody has like a little couch story when they get to California. They're either in somebody's couch or they're staying with somebody, and I was staying with my cousin. So I needed to make money, and he gave me like 6 or 7 months to kind of pull it in and get it together. And he was like, well, I'm gonna need you to work. And I was like, okay, well, okay. So I went and got 3 minimum wage jobs. And so we were at this production company, and the owner was like, well, I will pay you to write songs. And I was like, he was like, I'll give you $500 per song. I was like, what? And I was still going to own the song. I would just pay you $500 to write the song. I was like, oh, I got a whole black book right here. So I started doing their demos. It was like a team of producers. I started doing their demos, and they would have these meetings with the record companies. So the record companies started getting familiar with my tone. They always ask, well, who is that singing? So that's how I started demoing. I ended up demoing for Brandy. Let's see, how did that start? With Keith Crouch, which came from a circle of producers, the first producers that I was telling you about, that I was doing the demos for. One of Keith's friends heard the demo. He was like, oh yeah, you gotta meet the Crouch brothers. Now I'm gonna know who the Crouches are because I grew up on Andre Crouch. I knew like all of his records, studied him forever. So I was really excited. Like, he got nephews like around my age. Oh, this is fire. I can't wait. So finally, I'll just skip and get to the point of that. He called me in, and I started doing demos, and it was just one of the best experiences ever, because in some cases I had to come up with everything. In the other demos, I would literally pretty much borderline be writing. I would be giving away like arranging and giving my ideas and all the things, and never claimed writers. I would just get paid to sing the song. But along with that came arranging. With this particular producer, which is Keith Crouch, he was a one-man band. Like, he could do everything. So all the parts and all the things like that, it was almost like so exciting to look, and I sing this and do this and do this and do this. And I would just knock it out, but it would just be like, how are you thinking of these parts? So all of there's tons of songs that you guys haven't heard that didn't make the Brandy record. That Kipper. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Alise, I'm hurt.
There's tons of songs that I've demoed. I have a couple of them with my vocal and then her vocal. But with these songs, I would do the demo, and she'd come in and put her vocal on top and do what she was going to do. And I'm trying to figure out, like, the songs that are on the album, they were already pretty much etched in stone. When I came to do this first demo for Keith, he decided I Want to Be Down was already done, and that was done by Tiara Lamack. She did the first song, and then after we worked together, he was like, "Oh, I'm straight. Let's, and I don't think Tiara gets enough credit. That if people think that that's me on I Want to Be Down, it's not. That's Tiara. She's amazing, right?" But after that, I just did the rest of the album, the rest of his songs, and it came out incredible. But Kipper and Keith did write some stuff that y'all haven't heard. That Brandy.
It's in the Brandy vault.
It's a Brandy vault, And,
so Sherree, I have a question, because I know you were just talking about Brandy. I know you worked on Jamie Foxx's album.
Oh, you in my bed?
So, yes.
That was the first record.
Yes.
That was my first album.
Yeah, and this year years. It made 30 years this year.
All of that was the same. Jamie was the first professional record that I did.
Yeah.
And he actually had me come on tour with him, do a date or two with him.
Yeah.
With his comedy show. And that's when he was doing Wanda from In Living Color.
So
I would go to the house and just, knock out songs. He was like, Shreveport Pain, come on. He'd love to say the whole name. Shreveport Pain, you want to go to Frank's with me? I'm like, yeah, okay. So I did a show with him, and I also did a talent show, which is where I actually met Keith. I invited Keith to the show because we kept kind of missing each other. He was calling and we would never meet. And I said, well, hey, I'm going to be singing at this talent show. You want to come through and check it out? Which is interesting because my performing voice is different from my background voice.
It is.
Yeah, it's different. So I just use different tones for different things. And background vocals are more of an art. So I finally got my moment. He decided, well, I'm gonna call her, and she, so that was history. We've been working together ever since.
At least you got a question, girl. I'm kind of drawn out. Look, I'm just loving how the way she says she's sung for everybody, mama. So
I love it, and I love talking to, and I know Chastity does. Of course, we love the lead vocalist, the face that you see. But we're actually more interested in background singers and producers and engineers and songwriters. Like, it's so dope. Like my show on R&B RePRESENTERS, we talked to Trina Broussard, and I love her.
We're good.
Her. And
we talk like every morning.
Oh, she's so sweet. I love her, and I just love talking and hearing how things come together and what it's like, and hear about the camaraderie, and it's all these different pieces that make a song, not just what you see on the video or see on stage. Like, no, it's so many working parts and moving parts. So it's fascinating to see just how it all see how the sausage is made. It's like just how everything comes together to give you that final product. That's what's more important. Well, not more important, as important as the front facing.
It's the sauce. It's the sauce. Let me shout out. I just saw Arvell. So hey, Arvell. I was hoping I wouldn't see when people are saying hi, because I'll be like, hey, how you doing?
Right?
Okay. Yeah, hey, Arvell.
Oh, you did.
And he was another producer that we wrote and worked together in the early days. In the early 90s. Yeah, but getting back to the behind the scenes, it does take a village, and there's so many stories. Everyone has a different perspective of, especially when you talk about this record. There's so many different. Like Arvell was on this project too, but I think was I on the B side or the A? I think we were on the B side, but our friends was on the A side. So like. Keith was on the first side, and then Arvell, Damon, Sauce, Tamara, and Trina, Fuzzy, Rashad, they were all on the other side of the album, but it was just always like family. You know what I mean? Like to be a part. It took all of this to make this record. All of us.
Agreed.
We had, yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
What you did, you and Brandy sound like twins on Broken Hearted, baby. Y'all was singing like rent was due. Rent was due. When I say Broken Hearted, my God. Ooh.
Yeah. That
Well, I have a
gotta put that air on it. You gotta put the air on it.
Well, I have a question. You like the original version better or the remix? Let's be honest. Which one do you like better?
I did do the demo for Broken Hearted. Yeah, I think I did. Wait, I have to ask Keith. Keith remember everything. But I think I did do the backgrounds. I mean the demo for Broken Hearted.
But do you like the original or the remix? Which one do you like? Or which one do you prefer?
Oh. They're both good. They're both good.
Agreed.
I have a lot of ties. I didn't have like a lot of involvement as to where they may have just transferred my vocal over to and used parts of it because they kind of did some new things with it. But I was involved in the making of Broken Hearted, and I have memories attached to that, being in New York and all that. So I would have to say the first song. I mean, the first version, the original version, hits me a little deeper, and it's the first time that I could feel that Brandy was connected to being brokenhearted in a very tender way. You know what I mean? Like innocent way, like where it was new to her, even though she was, like she says, I'm young, but I'm wise enough to know, like the lyrics, the way Kipper crafted the song. I'm not sure if it was Kipper and Keith because they worked very well together and simultaneously, like Keith had the ability to go do lyrics and melody and back and forth. But it was a very well crafted song for her. The story.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I love the way she sings because you feel that vulnerability, but also being young, the naivete attached to that vulnerability. Yeah. It's like it's like you're being vulnerable for the first time, you know?
And you know what's crazy is that I just did her lead vocal wasn't on there. It wasn't on there when I did the backgrounds. I think either my old demo was, but I would be hearing it the first time when it was complete, and I was just like, wow, she did it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Kipper and Keith said she did it in one take.
Yeah, especially that happens when you're in the right environment and the spirits are aligned. You can who's in the room is really important. And what's interesting is that Keith never put us in the room together. We didn't even meet each other until I mean, I promise you, I didn't meet Rasan. Only person I met was Kipper.
Oh, okay.
I was in the room with Kipper. That was it. And Daryl, who was the A&R person, may have been there a couple of times. But one thing about Keith, he would be intricate with every part of his production. He gave everyone their own space. So when Brandy cut her vocal, we were not. I know you're not on my live cutting up. And guess what her name is? It's Love of all things. We already talked about this.
We did.
We already talked about this. You're going to cut up on my lap. I know you. Girl. Excuse me. That's Love, everybody.
It's Love. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the mom in me that just kind of slipped out a little bit. Yeah, so he would record us all separately. So I met Brandy, I think, the first time at Studio 56. And what were we working on? I'm trying to remember what it was we were working on. She was so sweet. We would talk on the phone, and even like Rasan, we would always just be in passing. And everybody, if there was a guitar player, or it would just all be in passing because he gave 100% to each part that he recorded. No distractions. And it was, when I say no distractions, none. No beepers. No pagers. Wait, how about How about no air either? Because we were recording out of his apartment, and we had to turn off the air. So when I say we put sweat and tears into these songs and these recordings, we literally had to turn off the air because the microphone would pick up the air. So we would sing and then break, but we'd be sweating, babe.
At least that's why we got a great body of work. That's why we got a great
And
body
I'm
of
not sure if that's what she recorded, but then after that one, then he moved later on into 56 when the work after a couple of hits and the things like that, we moved into a studio.
Yeah.
That real work, that dirty work was in that apartment, honey.
Yeah, and that's symbolic of adverse surroundings or struggle bringing greatness, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it a struggle. It's just what it was. And we were willing to do it. We were willing to do whatever. Like, everybody brought their A game. Everybody respected each other, especially when it came to the different projects that were brought before me, whether it was a different writer or there was additional producer or whatever. Everybody brought their A game, and they really went. No matter who Keith was working with, everybody brought 100, no less. So it just went smooth. And same with Brandy. They made it comfortable for her to get those vocals. She was, and I don't even think she knew how amazing she was because she was 15.
Yeah.
She's still looking like, oh, Sherree, you're so amazing. You're so this, you're so that. And I'm looking like, you don't even know that you're amazing. I'm just supporting the thing. And we got a lot of flack like, oh, Sherree, we hear you all over the place. And it's just like, no, you do, but she's holding her own. And she proved that because I ain't on none of them other records.
Look at Alise.
I don't know
that part.
My mark was made here in the foundation as it has been for so many other artists like her brother, and I'm on a lot of first. Yeah, there it is. A lot of the artists' first albums, but I never was like, oh yeah, that's me, because she was clearly a star and clearly talented. She had to learn exactly who she was in that. But she I'm going to say it, put it on the record, she held her own. And she was nowhere around when I was doing what I was doing, and I was nowhere around when she was doing what she was doing. The producer just know how to put it together.
Right.
Yep. Blend.
Kudos to B.
Yeah. And I think if people understood more how records are made, they wouldn't say those things so often. To know that all of their faves, especially from then, before all the technology we have now, it took a lot of people to do that. For every one of your faves, it was a collaborative effort.
Wait a minute, and back then you had to go in and re-record it all over. There was no technology.
Right.
These were tapes. But then we moved to ADATs, which kind of looks like VCR tapes. That was a little easier, but I'm here to tell you that was, like I said, sweat. And it wasn't if you had to go back in and sing it all over again. Wasn't no moving things around, or sometimes you had to sing it from top to bottom. It was work. I enjoyed it. Clearly I enjoyed it. But it took work, and then it took our tones, even though they were the same. I was 24, she was 15. So Keith needed a certain grit that hadn't developed yet with Brandy. So like when you get to keep moving, like I understood church. Not that she couldn't. He wanted her to shine in her artistry. Like that was still being developed at the time. You imagine like a 15-year-old. You hear 15-year-olds. Their voices are young and they're tender.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use all the things. And I loved how she developed this as she began to mature, her voice deepened.
At least
got this rasp on it, which was clearly a contrast from the first album. So I was like, wow, she is. And then she started even running more. But even some of the ad libs, I was just listening to them the other day, the first record, and I found myself, ooh, you better sing. She was just killing, no, what I'm gonna do again. know. Who knows?
Yeah, that's
Oh, she froze. Hold on, she froze, Alise. Uh-oh.
okay. We'll
Sherree,
get
she
it back.
froze. Soon as she sung, when she hit that high note, that's when she froze, Alise.
Uh-huh.
Yo, there she come back. Come back.
Okay.
Baby, what? Look, Alise, I'm getting my entire life. Look.
This is exciting.
Yes, it
Hey,
is.
hey everybody watching while we waiting.
Thank y'all for joining us. And at least what you just said that's when Brandy's voice got deeper. You said that in the B7 episode, it got deeper and it just just
Yeah.
strong. Yeah.
It got that more rasp to it.
Yep. And when it did, it was a wrap. Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on. She's trying to come back. I'll give us a second.
Yeah.
Soon as she
Bear
hit
with
that high.
us.
Yes.
Bear with us, y'all. We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. At least soon as she hit that high, I said, there she go. Look. But yeah, I agree with you said, like that voice really deep in once she got the album. And like you said, the artistry had to grow in album number two, like you said. But this debut, baby, they were singing like Rent was due, Alise.
Yeah. Well, apparently she said she was staying with her cousin. They said you gotta give me like 6 months. So the rent was due. And it got paid, girl. It got paid.
Back in the day, like you said, at least $500 was a lot. Especially in California. Yes, it was a lot. Okay, let's see what she looked like. She probably trying to come in. Okay, let's see. Oh, there she goes. She's coming back. Uh-oh. She's trying to come back, y'all. Give us a second.
Yeah. Bear with us.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting there.
We getting there.
Right after we was talking about technology. It's technology, the gift and the curse.
Right. The gift and the curse.
It helps us out, but Lord, it like to cut up. Oh goodness.
Okay. Yeah, she's coming back. We gotta hear the sound. But at least I can't believe it's been 30 years. This is amazing. 30 years.
Yeah.
And see, y'all were old enough, so I low-key get jealous. I really do.
I don't think you I don't think you would be jealous of my knees. My lower back.
Oh, girl. Oh, you know, at least I'm starting to feel it now. I'm starting to feel that now as I've gotten older in life. Look. Hold on, Sherree, we trying to hear it. We can't hear the sound. No sound. Mm-mm. That is a nice piano.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
What? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay. We working on the other camera.
Oh, Timogen, really?
Huh?
No, I'm laughing at somebody in the chat.
I can't see the chat, but hey, chat.
Hey, chat.
Like you said, we left off of.
Well, you hit a high note.
We're talking about the raspies and something.
Yeah, talking about the deepening of the voice, the maturing of the voice.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it was just amazing just watching. But like I said, you got to give a 15-year-old child credit. Like, you know, that's a lot of pressure. And if people be like, oh yeah, it's you. That's it. That's not my album. That's her album. It's not my album. I'm her album. It's not her album. It's two different sounds, as you can see now.
Right.
Much respect. Like that's a gift. And then you throw dancing and the choreography and all the things in there. Like I've been doing all of that.
Yeah. The choreography, you know, space car, everything. Like being an artist is a lot of responsibility.
Not only that, at that time she was doing She was doing a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Still at the same time.
And recording a record. So her career was about to take a shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking about that because we were both working on our records, which my record was way different from hers.
Yeah.
But we were excited. We would talk about that over the phone. And I'm trying to figure, did we meet face to face before we started talking on the phone? I can't remember. But again, she's 15, I'm 24, with a whole family. So, you know, you can put that in. She was, you know, we were talking about our hopes and our dreams, and she had the record, and she was like, "Oh, Sherree, this is great. This is amazing. Like, I can't wait for this to come out," and all the things. And then her record came out, and a few other people's record came out, and like 3 other artists, and mine never did. It's okay. But yeah, it was just interesting just watching. I was happy for her just to watch her career just blow up, and it really hit me when Baby came out.
Oh,
Like when I saw the video, I was like, in New York, like dancing and the whole thing. She went from swinging on the swing and I want to be down to in this New York Times Square getting it in.
yeah.
You know,
And I remember I interviewed Kipper. About 3 years ago, and he told me, he said that was a fastest selling record at the time. Baby was.
It was amazing.
It was at Atlantic Records history. And for him to say that, I was like, what? I had no idea, because I love the record, but I didn't know it's so fast. And obviously you got the Grammy nomination for that and all that. And I was like, wow, that song did numbers. I mean, huge.
Yeah. I didn't, and you guys taught me something new. So there's another Grammy then, a nomination, because I had one for the single Baby. Right here.
Yeah, the single Baby.
Yeah. So, but there's another one then, because you said 2, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know
the artist one.
Oh, she froze 7 million now today.
Oh, it's 7 times platinum. It's
7 times platinum. Yeah.
Yes,
so
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I gotta change that on my plate. I gotta get the letters put on there, like 7 million.
Hey, man.
Yeah, and it's so interesting you were talking about Baby, because when I in 95 and this was only I Want to Be Down and Baby were out, I went to a concert. It was Brandy was the opening act.
Yeah.
Boys to Men and Babyface.
Yeah.
And she came out, and just those 2 songs were out, and she did her.
That was in 95, right? 94, 95, something.
95.
95.
Yeah. Because Best Friend hadn't come out as a single yet. But but Baby was the current single at the time, and so she came out singing that, and of course I Want to Be Down, and then I think she did like Broken Hearted. Nobody knew it, but we were rocking to she was brand new. It was just cool that I got to like be there for that, and I was going crazy. I was 16, 15, 16, so it was very exciting.
Something funny story about Baby is I did not know that Rasan wrote Baby. I know we sang on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I had worked with Rasan and toured with them and everything, and just found out maybe a couple of years ago, maybe, that he wrote Baby, which is crazy. That was a fun fact. And I was like, oh, okay. That was really cool.
Yeah, and you know what? When I did find out that he wrote that, and now when I hear Baby, I imagine in it if Rasan was singing it, and I can hear it.
You can hear it.
Like, I'm like, oh my God. I could like go to songs, I'd be like, this could be that song,
Baby, 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 baby. I can see
it. Yeah, for sure.
I can't get down there right now. Yeah. That was it's so him. Completely him.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. So many things that we could talk about.
Well, we gotta talk about the success of it, because like we just talked about 7 times platinum.
7 times platinum.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but this is Brandy's most sampled album. This is her. Yes, it is 140 times. It is
more so by the church, which is hilarious. That's hilarious to me.
It's a second highest.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Miss Sherree, if you know this, but this is Brandy's longest album out of her whole catalog. This album is the album, 89 weeks on the charts. 89 weeks, yes.
Still amazing.
She still holds that record in her catalog. So I wanted to ask you, since they did go number 6 on the charts and number 20 on the charts, how did you feel when all the success did happen for? I mean, you gave us our first Black Cinderella, Moesha.
Yeah, all the things. It was
I
just
mean, the
amazing
list
just
goes on.
watching her career just elevate from a child, just sitting and talking about our dreams, and then watching hers manifest. And I wouldn't see her again until I saw her in '95. I was like super pregnant with my third child, and we had taken the kids out to go see her perform and meet her and everything. And that would be the first time of me meeting her mom. And then in '90, I wouldn't see her again until like 2000. Because I talked to her maybe in 1999. No, we had 2000. I saw her at Warren and Erica Campbell's wedding. Yeah, and then she was working on Full Moon during that time. That was the last. No, the last time I saw her was 2017, right before I moved to Austin, Texas. She was getting her nails done. The nails done, and I was going to to a different destination. I had like a performing arts program. I was working with some kids, and which actually my city's children was in this group. Oh, wow. So I was like, is that Brandy in there? And I walked to the nail salon, and she was like, I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. Like, where do I know you from? And she was like, oh my God, like, it's so funny. Like seeing her after all these years, and she remembered. But I haven't seen her in a while. Like, with life happening and adults, I don't know her as an adult. I knew her as a child. So I'm very proud of her, and most thankful for her parents, rearing her and staying by her side throughout her career. They were very protective of her when she was like 15. Oh, yeah. And they needed to be, though. And now, I'm a mom. I would completely understand. I was a young mother at that time, and I had toddlers. But as they grow, this industry is a beast. As everyone's finding out today. So thank God for her parents. Thank God.
Yeah. So important, because a lot of folks didn't make it. They didn't have the protection they needed, and
they did not, but she did. And
she did. Oh yeah.
The success. It was great. It was great watching the success. I was very, very, very happy for her. Just from the acting to the Cinderella to it was the and I know she loved Whitney Houston, so she finally got to work with Whitney, and all of that was something that I was admiring and celebrating from afar, because after so many years, the connection, there was a lot of space, as there is still to this day. But the first thing when I did see her in 2017 was to tell her how very proud I was of her, and it wasn't from a cliche standpoint. It was sincerely from my heart, and because to take all that on, and motherhood and all the things that she was not experiencing at the time. When I was 24, I was a mother, and she was a baby. So now she grew into motherhood and all the things. So she was doing it. She was going forward.
Yeah, she thanked you on this album too. She did. She thanked all the background folks. She thanked you, Sherree. It's another thing.
It's in the credits. Like, we don't even read the credits anymore, huh? I have the album. What? Yeah, I have the album.
I read it before I did this interview. I said, I'm gonna make sure. I knew she was thanked in this album. I said, yeah, Sherree was thanked in the album. She was. You were.
She was so sweet. She really was. She was sweet. She was a baby. And I'm, God trusted her with that season and the ones to come.
Yeah.
So I think that, she's kept him with her, as we all should,
Yeah.
Through every season. Through every season. And you can hear the seasons in her albums,
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kept her. She looks great. And even to this day, and she's still getting her flowers. She's still trending cross-generationally. She's still the my kids know who she is. And I have Gen Zs. The youngest guy.
Gen Zs.
Be quiet on the Gen Z life. They're a little different.
Yeah. And one thing, you mentioned she was a baby, and that that's why Brandy is so dear to me, because I grew up
The
with
baby.
her, and then she had a nerve. The twin put out that B7, and then it spoke to big grown me. Like
Big grown me.
it spoke. It still she's still speaking to me, because it, I don't know her, but we grew up together. She
You
just
grew
don't
up
know.
together, and you have. I remember listening to B7. Was that during the pandemic?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had to put it in my ears. It was moving around a lot, but I got it. I was moving with her a lot,
Mhm.
and she was like poetically expressing. Like you could tell, she had been doing some inner work. She was poetically expressing her journey.
Yeah. That pen on that album.
I got
Phenomenal.
my favorite. That's is it Kissing You?
I'd rather be kissing you.
What's the name of the song? I'm in the
Rather
wrong key, but
Rather be.
be.
yeah. I'd rather be kissing you, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a cut. I that's one of my favorites on it. Yeah.
yeah.
And Sherree, it's crazy you said B7 because she doesn't credit, but she says broken hearted in Saving All My Love. You remember the first lines? Yeah. She says, so I'm sorry,
Wow,
I'm broken hearted. She talks about broken heart. Mm-hmm. So she
wow.
gets back to the debut, like Alise is saying. She goes back in certain areas of her life, but like you said, like Alise said, it ties in together what she was saying. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Mhm.
think that this end is not everything is cracked up to be, and you
Mm-hmm.
definitely need tough skin, you know. And if you're up, batter's up. And she's had to bat up a few times for a few assignments. That's not easy.
Yeah.
That is not easy. So when you hear songs like bipolar and stuff like that, you get it. It's just not like you're not focusing on the disease or she was bipolar. It's just like this industry is bipolar. You know what I mean? Like the industry is bipolar. Like what are we even talking about? Life can be, and you have to. I kind of looked at it as she was reclaiming her position in life. Like I'm not going to let these circumstances rule me. This is who I am. And even if you're not quite there, because sometimes as writers we write from a perspective that we don't quite really, we know what to believe, but we don't necessarily believe it, and we have to speak it into existence. And it's almost like we're encouraging ourselves. You know how the word says you encourage yourself in the Lord. It's almost like we're encouraging ourselves and releasing that into the atmosphere to come back to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved the record. It was great.
And we love you on this debut, so that's what it means to us, and everything you know. So Sherree, we want to talk more about your legacy and your history. So we know you worked on look, baby, you worked on my best Toni Braxton project. Talking to baby Alise, I could not believe she sung, baby. We know that.
There he goes, talking in his sleep.
I can't.
You gotta have air. You gotta put the air on it.
Look,
That's the wrong key too.
Alise, no, that was a right key. Alise,
No, it's not.
It was. Look, my baby, I used to sing
That's
that.
my song.
Oh my God. Every morning when I was getting my bachelor's degree, I would wake up to Toni Braxton Secrets. I was obsessed with that. I'm like, girl, you helped me get my bachelor's degree. Thank you. But thank you. But I want to, how was it working on that project? And then I know you working with Sherree Patrice. You work with a lot of people. How was it working with them?
So, so you want to talk about Toni or you want to talk about Rasan? Which one?
Both of them.
So Rasan's going to be longer. So we can do Toni. Toni was it was all in the same time. Cece, Toni.
Yeah.
Who else? With Jason Weaver. Who else?
Love Ambition, baby.
Okay,
huh?
Celine.
People slept on that Jason Weaver. People slept on that album. That album was amazing. I don't care.
It is amazing. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Thank God for social media because I get to meet all these people. So many projects that I've worked on and I haven't met the actual artists, done duets with them and never have met them, which is crazy.
What?
But yeah, there's a few. But Toni, I did we weren't in the studio together, but she came and she was coming to do her vocals. So this was Talking in His Sleep. And I was a baby a month away from giving birth.
Oh, wow.
And really had no business working. And, you know, it was time for me to settle down and get ready to give birth. But, you know, I came on down to the studio, and I remember just going in and knocking it out. And then Tony came into the it was called the B room. They had all these different lounges, and she came in, and I was so tired and out of it. You would think I was so excited to meet her, but by the time she came in, I was tired. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And she sat down and talked with me because I wasn't like, "Oh my God, Tony Braxton, and this, and this." Like they like to be treated like regular people, like artists like to be treated like regular people. So I was far removed from the moment because I was so tired. And she just sat there and talked to me the whole time. And I would see her later on the other 2 projects that I work with at Faces Studio. For the Gimme Some and the Heat, and it was Heat, 2 records on the Heat too. So she was there at that one, and we chatted it up and switched recipes and some other stuff at that time. But she was very nice, and I remember just loving her spirit and appreciated just having a conversation with her. It gave me a different viewpoint of celebrities, because I had met a few that weren't so nice, and it was a very good experience. But I learned from that to be yourself and don't put on, because they're looking for normalcy. You know what I mean? They're just looking for just a regular somebody to treat them like a human being, not one on a pedestal. So she was very pleasant to meet and work with. But our time in between, like, let's be clear, we were all there to work. Artists, musicians that could be the strings. It wasn't a whole bunch of interacting going on to stay focused on what we were called to do to make these records happen. So Rasan, getting to Rasan, I didn't meet Rasan for years. Like, we did the whole Brandy project. I never saw him. I just heard him, and he heard me. So we knew each other vocally. Okay. And then after I decided that I wasn't going to continue pursuing the record that I had, the whole album that I had done, it was pulled. And then after about a year or 2, he asked me, after he released his album, he asked me, which was amazing, by the way, beautiful body of work, which he also worked with on that one too. But he had asked me if I wanted to go on tour with them, and I was like, okay. So that's how we started. He became my boss. Yeah, so that was, but we would crack up because we never met each other. And I don't think, like, at first we thought it was like a little mysterious, like it was like a little, you know, it was done intentionally and all the things. But now that I'm older, you just, and more mature, I totally view it as the producer just needing a moment with each intricate piece of this art. We didn't need any other painters in the room. We were working on a specific color, and there was only 2 ingredients that needed to be involved in this coloring. And then he added to the masterpiece, which is the several of the masterpieces. So shout out to Keith Crouch, who doesn't get enough credit.
I mean, he did a part. He did a part on Full Moon, so yeah, that was my jam. Look.
Oh, he did get a song on.
Surely did.
I never known anything that pleases you, so baby, please. Am I on the right key?
Yep.
No, I'm not. I'm not in the right key. I always do things lower. I promise you, I'm not in the right key. And there are certain people that can tell me that I'm not, like Rasan and like Keith. I mean, that's not the key. Yeah.
That Alise right there, she's a huge Rasan Patterson fan, so that's her dude. That's
my guy.
I just call him Art. He's just Art.
He's one of one. He's definitely one of one.
Oh, my heart.
The heart of art. Art.
Yes. There you go.
Hashtag art.
Yeah, there's no heart without art. You know?
You said it.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, Miss Sherree, since you had all these illustrious hits we didn't talk about, I wanted to ask you, what is the essential ingredient of making a hit? And then if you know that, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
From my catalog?
Yeah, because you work with Usher too.
I did work with Usher, but I never met Usher.
What?
I'm just singing a whole part on one of his songs and just
8701.
I don't even remember the words. If I Want To is the name of the song. If I wanted, I could take it from you, man. Yeah. The little girl part is in there. So I called Eric Walls, who is now his guitarist. I just literally today, they're coming to Austin. So I was like, I want to be Usher. So me and the hubby, we gonna come through. Y'all come through, and I'm gonna finally meet this guy.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So Babyface put me on that song for that one. But the hit ingredients, like I told you, one of the formulas is that I learned is that you do have to be intentional about each part. Like you develop the song first. So as I'm now writing back into writing mode, it's hard not to go ahead of just the foundation. Like you sit at the piano, you write the chords, you record that, and you create the story. Lately, I've been doing music first. So it's music, depending on how you write, it's changing for me. The music comes first. For me, it's been coming that way first, and then I'll do a melody with no lyrics. I can't think of any lyrics. I would say listen to what's happening now, but I've learned over time, and after I've been doing some internal work and healing, that who you are is good enough, and how you hear is how God designed you to hear. A lot of the times over the years, I've found that I've always been ahead of my time. So if I write something, people go, "Oh, that's whack," and then later on, like literally, somebody will do it, and then it's it's a hit. So being sure, trusting what's in your spirit and what you're hearing, what God is downloading.
Yeah.
Trusting that process to add this and that. Don't limit your ability to go further than what you hear, but take step by step what you hear. Because a lot of times, today we're independent artists, and you can do things in home now. You don't have to go to the studio or somebody to produce you. Most artistry is independent, so you have to show up to that process, sit to where you can hear, and then think about the message that you want to portray. That's one way to look at it. It's hard not to compare to what everyone else is doing, but to be individual, knowing that what you have is enough. What God is giving you is enough. Is more than enough. So that's how stars are born. Because they're not really mimicking anybody. Brandy didn't sound like anybody else.
Nope.
And even though it took all of us,
Thanks.
None of us went on the rest of this journey with her.
No.
Anybody from this foundation of this album, I'm trying to think of anybody else, like maybe a producer or two made it to the next round, but she went different routes each time. So just knowing your sequence is important. And what we are is released to be present to our own artistry. So you said, what are the elements of hits? And you asked me what was my
favorite.
Oh, well, first of all, let's be clear. In today's, I just want to encourage someone.
Yeah.
The public does not, they would say that the public decides what the hit is.
Yeah.
Just take it out your mind. Just do what you're called to do, right? How you do what you do. Because at some point, as we've seen, and it's been proven, that there are seasons that God chooses to promote certain music or give people the ability to elevate and hit the charts and all those things. Though that's a timing thing. That's a God timing thing. But I do have plenty of songs that are great, but never got the exposure. So when you say hits, my favorite song that I did write, that I thought was pretty cool, was the song for Say the Last Dance. Didn't make the radio or anything, but it's at a very pivotal moment of the movie for Say the Last Dance when is her name Julia Stiles?
Yeah. Julia Stiles.
She was about to go to audition for the big moment. then I wrote that song, and I'm also singing on it too.
Oh, I remember.
What?
That is a pivotal, something like musical moment in that movie.
It's huge.
That's
And it's when
so
she took.
cool.
It's the moment that we've all had. So the name of the song is "All or Nothing." And so she gave it. You got to show up. This is your moment. Show up. And the other one is Ashley on Ashley Banks on
Fresh Prince?
Prince of Bel Air. Yeah, when she got the record deal. And she
Yes.
got the big head. Although I'm crazy about you, I can do it. That's my song too. I demoed that one too.
Look, Alise Leslie.
I
So
am
just watched that the
gobsmacked.
other day. Yeah. So that was fun, and that's cross generational now too because it airs and you can look it up. So I was, I ran across that in my.
That song is a bop.
It's a bomb. I wrote that with Robert Jail, and
That is a jam.
it is definitely a bop, and so she took it and she made it her own, and they took all my vocals off of that one, but she replaced them, and it's a pivotal moment. So I was like,
that is so cool. I'm just
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My first placement was on For Real, which is a group R&B when they had they were ones to wear the short hair. So yeah, that the You Don't Want to Miss with the Snoop Dogg and the whatever. You don't want to miss. So that was my first debut as a writer, and I heard it on the radio, and I was like, oh. But I remember being in the studio, and thank God for social media, because now I have a moment to say what it is.
Yes.
I worked my tail off with those girls and arranged and all the things. So basically what I was doing was co-producing, but I never got the credit for co-producing this song. And I didn't rock the boat because I was new, all the things, but that is the one song that I thought it was cool watching the video come out. I was on Video Soul and all the things. Oh my God, I wrote that song. So yeah, and it did a little chart climbing. It was cool. So those are like some of the big moments writing. Oh, for this.
The double what I know you're talking about.
Now, I promise you, because like with the Grammys, you don't get like the actual statue. You can only get the statue if you have Song of the Year. So I was like, well, why do I have a dub award? Duh. I looked at it. It's for Urban Song of the Year. So that's why I have a statue, because I'm a writer of the song from Anointed, which was a gospel group. That's why I have an award.
Amen.
I got Song of the Year. So I was like, God, you are just so good. Like you don't even really realize how. Well, one thing I can say, I will say this. I will have to take a moment to say that this was my dream as a little girl. I would never imagine that this is what I would be doing, but God saw to it that He opened all these doors. And when I promise you, I didn't make one phone call to sing on any of these records. It's about 150 records. Didn't make one phone call to do any of this. They called me. So God He would put my name in rooms and just had all this favor and grace. And I would be called for these things because that's what He intended for me to have. And although I thought I wanted the fame and all those things, that never happened at that time. And now I completely understand why it didn't happen. But I'm so grateful that He put me like next to the David Fosters and the Diane Warrens and the Baby Faces and all the people that I admire. I got to work with all these artists. And in some cases, I've never even met them. Doesn't that sound like God? Doesn't that sound the way He does?
Faith,
so
yeah. And not only were you put in those places, but when you got there, you put in the work.
But it was Him, and I'm saying like, I know that, it was my ability, but He gave me the ability.
Right.
Yeah.
His grace and his mercy on my life through, so much trauma, if I might add.
Yeah.
Music healed and helped me get through it. So a lot of the times I was operating in the gift that he gave me
Yeah.
with a ton of trauma going on at the same time.
Mm.
It literally healed and it paid the bills. And, someone that didn't have a college education, I ended up making more money than than my schoolmates, who would tell me, you're not going to, be successful. You need to go to school. And I'm not knocking school, because I totally understand that school is for discipline. So a lot of the times, artists aren't prepared because we don't have discipline. We didn't go through the colleges was for that,
Yeah.
to prepare you in the real world. So music, basically, the industry was my college. It was basically that taught me. But when I look, I'm like kind of rearranging my music room, and I decided to put some stuff over here. And when I looked at it, I literally was like in tears, because I was like, wow, this was my dream, like to be on these records. And God, you did this for me just because. And I could see it now, because it's like no longer my identity. It's no longer my identity. So you could separate who God created you to be from the things that he's done in your life, and
Amen.
know that this was him, So I just was like, wow. And that's only a quarter of
Yeah.
what's been done. So the reason why I'm getting it, and not for vanity purposes, but it's just amazing that this happened, and it's very hard to come by today. Like, I have enough. I used to go to Brandon's Way and walk down Babyface's studio, and he'd have this hallway, and it would have plaques from the floor all the way to the ceiling down this long hallway. I have a hallway right there, and I can definitely put all of the projects that I worked on there. And what's crazy is that I know that my ladder is greater. I'm just getting started at 54.
Girl, you still look good.
Yeah, that's God's glory on me. Hallelujah. And that also comes from just obeying the timing and trusting the timing.
Amen.
Like, if I had done all those things then, and he had given me the fame then, I gotta be honest, I don't even think I would be alive. And that's the honest to God truth, because everyone's not cut out for that type of work, and you have to know what your purpose is in that setting. As you can see, all of the things that are being revealed today in the industry, and things that were going on behind the scene, the dirty work that's been happening for a while, that's not what he wanted for me.
Amen.
It's not what he wanted for me. So every chance that I get, I'm going to testify, and having to do the work through, oh, you're singing devil music and you're not saved because you're out in the world and whatever. I had so many lessons to learn, and would find out that you feel you have to come back to the church out of religion, not realizing that the church is in you. His gift he's in you everywhere you go. So I am light. I do have his light inside of me. So just to know those things now is gold for me now. But he promised me a hope and a future. So, and it may not even be in this. It may be in something else. But I'm okay with whatever it is. I'm just honored to even be having this conversation with you all about what God allowed me to do in this life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. That is a word.
What? A word and then some. Oh my God. So
It's another workshop. It's a whole nother workshop. But
I love it.
The Brandy was definitely the foundation of being heard. I would, get called for Chicago, like, I hear your big mouth. I know that's you. I know that's you. Did you on that Brandy record? I'm like, I am. And I was just we worked so hard for her. For her to make this work for her. This was her dream. Yeah. So this whole, I call it Team B, we all rallied together to to make this record for her. That is now 30 years old and still kicking.
Still, yeah,
Mm.
still enjoying. Mm-hmm.
I am very full of stories and testimony. So at some point it'll come out at some point. But I'm grateful for this this life. I think after I call it doing the dirty work, the inside work that I'm very grateful. I've had a very full career, 30 years of experience. Actually, more than that, because Brandy's album I did at 24 and I started at 19. So it's been a very full career. I literally don't have to cut another record.
No, you don't.
I don't. I really don't. I have
Your
had.
Solidified. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I say your legacy has already been solidified.
Yeah, I think the thing that's most discouraging, but I know will be worked out eventually, is that singers can't the living that we got to make and the unions and all those things that are there. The young people aren't aware that these things exist for them and they fight for them to get compensated properly. So it's streaming and all of the things. It's just really made it hard for to make it in the industry, and just having children that want to do the same thing and they want to pursue things. It's just hard because you still have to work to be able to support yourself. And so now more than ever, that work ethic and the discipline and all that, you have to, it's hard even for me to do it as an adult to put everything, compartmentalize things and prioritize things and still make room for your art.
Right.
Almost like our art is not almost, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Pretty much now. So you have to be able to keep the passion alive, but still be able to make a living. If these vocalists out here knew how hard the union would fight for them, but you got to study and know what the rules are and the policies are that apply. So it's so many things that I want to be able to, in the future, educate people, because I worked and I made money as in my 20s and 30s, but that also takes a team, and that takes sharp admin. I had some people that were very instrumental in keeping the admin together, because the admin and the art go hand in hand. It makes it very successful. So you still have to utilize those skills that most artists are trying to, they did run away from in the past. They ran away from, and that's how they would get taken advantage of with different managers and things like that, because they didn't know how to do anything themselves, not even pay their own bills. So the life skills are the advantage that the younger people could have today, is that the life skills are available on YouTube, all these training videos. You can learn pretty much anything on YouTube. You can learn the rules on YouTube. You can go to these sites, the BMIs and the Recording Academy. All of their policies and everything that work for you are available, even down to insurance, even down to help if you need grants for, like, if you need to pay your rent this week or your light. There's things, so many things available to creatives, and they don't even know about that. That's there to help them. Grants available to get their music off the ground. If they could just believe in their art and invest in themselves, because the young people are not even young people. People are under the impression that I got to get a record deal, not realizing that record deal is not the be all to the be all.
No,
it's not. You are signing you're borrowing money for your project that you're never going to own, because they own the masters, because they pay for it. Whether you pay it back or not, they still own it.
They still own it. Yep.
So the fame and all the stuff that you see and all the things, that's work.
Yeah.
It's work.
It's all of a side. That's all of a side. Well, I had another question for you. I want to ask you, since today is the 30th anniversary of Brandy's self-titled debut album, if you had to describe one word about this album, you and Alise, one word about this album, what one word would it be? Okay,
well, I kind of have two. They kind of mean the same thing, but so I had iconic. But I also, and a trailblazer. and timeless.
Mm.
Timeless because it's still relevant today. It's still part of who she is. It's the foundation. People like to go to the foundation of where things started.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
iconic and trend setting in the sense of, as I made the little post today, everybody tried to copy it. And they was trying. I was like, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Did y'all just? Yeah, yeah,
And my
Alise.
and related to what you said, the word I was going to say is it's the genesis. It's the beginning. It's the creation, which ties into all the words that you said. So yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
beginning of something really great, but seeing it from the foundation, from the ground up. Yeah.
It's just, I love the idea of it being 30 years, and it's a camaraderie when we all get together. As I'm tagging everybody who worked on it, that was a family, but she is the denominator of this. There isn't, like, we all played a part, but like she rose out of that moment in time and transcended to something else
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
with a whole new different, and then did it again and then moved up. And then certain albums weren't as good as others, it wasn't as successful as others, but she kept going. She
Kept
kept going.
going.
And
Yeah.
all the things from acting to, to motherhood, to she just kept going. And I went to her page today to see if she was gonna, if she was like gonna commemorate this day or anything like that. She chilling.
She
Chilling.
did. She dropped
Did,
it.
did,
She just
did she
dropped
write
it.
something?
Yeah, she did. She did. She
Oh,
dropped.
okay.
She did. She just said happy 30th, and she was just thankful for everybody and all the fans. And then she put "I Dedicated Part 1" as the song for a dedication to all of us. That's her.
Oh, okay. Cause maybe I went early and I was looking to see if she did something, but I was like, yeah, she's chilling as she should be. And because that was another thing too, when she first came out, the difference today is that fans didn't have as much access to the artist. And
Thank
so
you.
you have to, the artist has to have a balance of their
Yeah.
availability and what they're responding to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That would mess you up, child. So I just liked that I didn't see a whole bunch of, I think it was an older post. And so that means that tells me that she's doing other things and she's focused, and like social, you have to really have a discipline to not let social media rule your life. It can be very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've had to
Mm.
take my own breaks, but yeah,
Same. Same.
she is definitely that 30 is something else, and she should be very proud. She should be very proud of the woman she's become. I'm
Mm.
I'm proud of. We don't, I may not know all the personal details, and I'm on the outside looking in, but as an artist, she's definitely she's a pillar.
Mm.
She's a pillar in the industry, and she can not never put out another record if she doesn't want to. She's done what she's done.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Don't make me
Precisely.
cry. At least I'm not trying to cry. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry.
Yeah,
But
You
she is. She is. What you gonna say, Elise? I know you was about to say something. I
yeah.
know you
Lisa
know,
said
about to say something. She about to
Elise
say
said
something.
Genesis. I called the foundation. I called this album the blueprint. This really was the blueprint. Brandy really opened the doors for so many. And
so
I
many.
meant to say this too, Elise. I love when we talked about for our episode, we said the representation of brown girls, being a representation of how we. Yes, because
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
Because
go ahead.
going back to that, yeah, when Brandy was out, like she was the black girl she was on TV.
With
She was
Brandy.
she was a model. Remember she
Brandy.
had the cover girl and all of that?
Yes, all the things.
This,
I
this
watched it.
brown girl with braids in her head is the cover girl. Like, and a lot of young people don't realize that was a big, huge deal.
And she
Big,
had a
huge
Barbie
deal.
doll. She had a Barbie doll too.
Yes, she did. And did. Yes. All of
And
that. So she was it was like, well, if she's considered pretty,
Mm.
then, oh, maybe I am too, I'm a brown girl, so it's, it was a big deal. And you know, sometimes when you go ahead in years and people don't see the impact, but if you were there, you understand how big a deal it is. Yeah.
Ooh. And that's why I call the blueprint. And I say representation of brown girls, and not even that. Like I said, Sherree, you gave. Who I won't cry. You gave us Moesha. Cinderella. Ooh, I'm about to start crying, y'all. I'm sorry. But I mean, this album really, really opened the door for so many of us to be where we at today. And I know you were talking about school. I'm currently right now going to school to get my doctorate. So when you see people like a Brandy that open the doors, and dang, I'm about to cry, y'all. I'm about to cry on this episode. I'm not finna cry. I ain't gonna cry, not tonight, not tonight. I'm trying to celebrate. But
you know, if you need to cry, you could cry, right? What I would say.
I had to hold back tears myself.
We are true to our emotions around these parts. It is what
you know that, Alise. But I think
stay
for
space.
Being a brown girl, being a girl of going for her goals and her dreams, she inspired me. So got people like a Brandy Norwood that really, really changed the game for myself and people like you, and just open the doors for us to go for your dreams. That's what this album means to me, and that's why I hold it in my heart. So 30 years, I picked up that damn cassette tape. I didn't know who the hell I was listening to, but I listened to somebody.
You said somebody.
Yeah, and she had a voice, and I was like, "Oh, she sounded." And then when I seen her at the mall, I was like, "Oh, she looks so pretty on TV." And then after that, it was just breadcrumbs of just a girl who was just a representation of all of us, and that's what that means to me. Now y'all got me crying. Dang, y'all, I was not supposed to cry tonight. I was not. Alise, I told you I was not going to cry tonight. Not in the crying.
You know, I'm used to having crying co-hosts. It's okay. That's how you got me. I'm gonna hold it down for you. Sis. Always.
Man, oh man.
But
I'm laughing because I remember the first time when I went to go see her in concert. It was me, my first time seeing her live, and I was just watching like, wow, she's dancing and everything. But baby, she had these boots on, these little high heel boots. I said, she came out, and I'm like, what you doing? Where you going in there? She went out there. She did the thing. It was some chunky boots, chunky heels from the 90s. Baby, she went out there and she did the thing in the heels. You hear me?
Oh,
killing it 15. Okay. She went and killed it.
Brandy did that. So I wanted to ask you another last question. I want to ask you, do you have any upcoming projects or anything that you got coming up? Since you know we are at the tail end of the last 3 months of 2024, what other stuff do you have coming up? Do you have anything?
I'm working on things.
But
I feel like, you know, because I went through a period of a year of just hearing nothing, just doing some healing work, and my creativity has just started coming back. So I feel like it's just where I am. I feel like I've stuck my head in a creative electric socket. And so I have to remind myself to continuously know that God's here with me. And his timing works best. So I sit and I listen, and it's been some good stuff. So I don't know what's coming next. I'm just going along for the ride. That's all I can say. I got a lot of different things happening all at once, from writing by myself, doing the lyrics, recording myself. I'm in Logic and all the things, and training myself. Like, don't ask anybody what they think. Just do what you're doing. And it's all coming together. So I can't wait. My ultimate dream is to travel the world and sing with my own band and industry free. Yeah. Just taking the message across and being in purpose, and be it praying for those in need, or, you know, creating a space for people to heal and let God repair their lives, and share my testimony. That's still in the works, but he's been good, and he looks good on me. I'm so thankful for the preservation that he has allowed. It's like he's redeeming the time. So I'm looking forward to the latter that's greater. So my life is, the best days are ahead, we're just getting started. Yeah. So hold tight when it comes out.
You let us know.
You let
I will. I definitely
Like
will.
for real, yeah.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait because the with social media and the way, with technology, the possibilities are endless, down to
Amen.
videos, and like I can do videos and edit and all the things now. I literally, and then my husband is like a technical genius. So it's like
Mhm.
music and tech in the same house, but he's even encouraged me to learn that, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Research it, do it yourself. There's YouTube. YouTube is your friend. So we've just developed. I'm just excited to see um, applying the discipline and the planning along with it and the release. So,
Mm. Mm.
and within time. Within time. This is a new stage in my husband and I's life because our last child turned 18.
Oh,
So
that's
we
last bit.
want to do it. So I've been a mom like my whole industry life.
Oh
I
wow.
started at 19, so my youngest is now 18. So this is my first time having. It's like a new windfall and a new season for my husband and I as we are rearing young adults. And we've had two generations, so we've had Gen Zs and millennials.
Mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get it in before the grandchildren come because I don't have any right now.
So you trying to wait.
I'm trying to get it in. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's that. You can hear some new things, and I want to thank the show and all of the Brandy fans that finally broke the algorithm on my Instagram that
Yeah,
I was stuck in.
they gonna break
Yeah,
it. Oh, they
I
gonna
just
come.
happened to go and post up, and I was like, oh, the numbers moved. Okay, all these followers, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, they gonna come.
That was
Anything
awesome.
with
Oh yeah.
but they
Yeah, the algorithm is no joke. It's no
gonna.
joke. But thank you all for the new follows. I appreciate it so much.
Lisa, you have a last question for Miss Sherree before we depart tonight?
I don't. I'm still tripping that she that she that she did that Tatiana Ali song. I'm still gassed about that. I'm still back an hour ago. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, okay. I haven't met her either. I did her record too. Daydreaming.
They
My, I met her
oh
too.
I
And
figured that.
I haven't met her yet either.
She seems like a star. She seems like a
yeah,
star. She stays
yeah,
herself. She don't seem.
yeah.
She just neutral.
Mhm.
She's a mama
But yeah,
too.
I don't have any other questions. I'm just extremely happy and excited that we got to talk to you. Like I said, I geek out about background singers and producers and
You do.
musicians. Like that's just so it's interesting to me and I admire y'all. So
Thank
I'm so
you.
glad I got to meet you.
And Sheree, let me let you know she's your number one stand when it comes to this body of work. That one right there, she's a diehard. Like Alise,
Oh yeah, I love it.
yeah, Alise, like that's her favorite. That's my favorite. I'm like, that's your favorite. She was like, yeah, out of all Brandy albums, that's her number one album.
Wow. So that's your favorite, Elise?
Mhm.
The first album? Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh, Alise, diehard.
yeah.
Who had the post with the tables? Because I was cheating. I was back over there at the other table at the full moon table. I was like, I should be at number one, but I'm kind of over here.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it was Brandy verse. They had the tables out because I think Brandy she did some a couple years ago to rank her albums. And I remember Vibe recently they just put an article out. I would say 2 months ago. They ranked the debut number
Which
two
one?
out of all her
Which
8
one?
albums. Brandy's they ranked Brandy's 8 albums that she dropped, and they would name it like how would you rank her albums, and Vibe ranked the subtitle number 2. Yep.
Wow, that's cool. Who was number one? What was number one?
Never say never. Never say never.
That was a good one though, baby.
That's my part.
Yeah.
I called that I'm gonna show you album.
Yeah. hmm
I'm gonna
But
show
yeah,
you. I can hold my own album. That's what that was. I'm
but
gonna
yeah,
go get
my
me some
favorite.
new. I'm gonna go get me some new everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch this.
Yeah. But my favorite Brandy albums, debut, Never Say Never, and B7. Those are
Yeah. And it's crazy because my 3 is Never Say Never, B7, and then the debut.
That
So
full
it's
moon is something else though. And I got to work with Mike City. Shout out to Mike City, who wrote Full Moon. all by himself, baby. It's a 100%er.
Yeah, I heard.
He
But I
he
always say,
definitely he writes everything.
but I
I
say
was
this,
like,
without that debut, there is no full moon. That's the foundation. That's why I always let
oh,
it be known.
okay, we're back to the okay, come on, we back to
Oh yeah, oh yes, oh yes. This is mother. This is mother. This is
That's
mother.
mother. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm okay with mother. I'm okay
Even
with being on the motherboard.
even though Never Say That was my heart, I can't knock that one. You gotta start from the foundation, and like I always say, it grows and grows something beautiful, and that's it.
One more fun fact, and I'm
Yes.
gonna volunteer this with the
Uh-huh.
album. That my favorite song is Always on My Mind. That's the song I didn't sing on.
Girl.
That's
love
my
that
favorite
song.
song on that record. And then I think Sunny Day is next. What's that sunny
Yeah.
day? It's just a feel good 90s,
Well,
just
yeah,
the whole.
Sunny Day, right? Sunny Day is one of my favorite Brandy songs. And I especially love it because one of my nicknames is Sunshine. So that just feels like a what's a sunny day? I love that song. It feels good. It feels right. It feels like it's subject matter.
But Always on My Mind though.
That's a great.
So in Studio 56 is where we were, like the whole camp was. Keith had like it was called Human Rhythm Productions. So everyone had their own little production company. I would literally be bouncing from one room to the other, just making my money. You know what I'm saying? Make my money getting these vocals in and these demos. But Always on My Mind, I was like, Kim, what's up? Can I get some? You want me to sing on top of it? Like, nah, he played it for me. I was like, dang, she don't even need me, right? She don't need me at all. But that song was just so them chords, and Kenneth hears weird too. Like Kenneth can't sing, but it's something in the Crouch blood. They can just get these parts and put they're just something that he would like struggle to sing it, but he'd be playing it. So he created like all the parts too and told her to, I'm assuming, because she was very young. Mm-hmm. But he wrote that song 100%. Oh, the beat and everything it's just the chords. It's just
that's my number one
song. If that's one song that I wish I had sang on, that's one. And I didn't really I didn't know till later that I would wish I had wrote something. I didn't really care. I wrote my own stuff. I was getting places and stuff like that. But I was just so excited to be a part of the project that I did what was asked. But pretty much a lot of people, they wrote something. So their little house on the hill experience is a little different than mine. Their little paycheck is a little different than mine. Songwriters get paid more than
they do.
Than the singer, but
it's nice.
Yeah, but Always On, people were surprised. I was like, Always On My Mind is your favorite. I was like, it's actually my favorite song on the record.
It is.
And I did not sing on that one, but it is my favorite song.
Oh my God. But it still the whole body of work is just amazing. So Miss Sherree and Alise, do y'all have any last words before we end today's live and celebrate the 30th anniversary of Brandy? Do y'all have anything else to say?
Alise, you want to go first?
I'm good. I'm just was so ecstatic.
I want to say thank you to you ladies, of course, for thinking. And I want to shout out the B Tribe. But first, we're going to shout out the parents first. Sonia and Willie Norwood, who this foundation to make sure that she stayed good to the best of their ability. And they did catch a lot of flack for it, but
baby,
it was well needed. Hello?
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do for your babies, right? And then to Keith and Kipper for trusting me with their art and bringing me in to be a part of this iconic project. And then, of course, Rasan. And just shout out to all the people. The late Derek Edmondson, he's gone. He passed away this year. And Booker T, who was the mixer, he mixed like all the songs. Amazing. He passed 5 years ago or so. So they're no longer with us. But let's see. There's Arvell. Damon, Sauce, Jeff.
Buzz.
He's passed on Rashad, Trina, Tamara, and of course Tiara, Lamac, who's on the I Want to Be Down. I just want, when I'm tagging, there's Michael Williams, who was her manager, and then the parents took over. But he started, and Daryl, who was A&R, Daryl Williams. They were brothers. Let's see who else.
Glenn McKinney.
Glenn, yes. And then I found out later he wrote Best Friend.
Yeah, he did. He co-wrote. Yes, he did.
Because I know he played, but I didn't know he wrote.
He did.
Man. So yeah, it's just it's we all have this music bond from that era and that moment. So I just wanted to shout out, and if I forgot anybody, please charge it to my head and not my heart. But I just wanted to shout y'all out and say thanks.
Oh my God, I had so much fun. Look, y'all done made me cry. I'm over it. Look, I'm happy tears. It's happy tears. It's happy tears. Look, but Miss, I'm just so happy, and I was so proud. I'm so proud. Me and Alise gave you your flowers. You are a legend. You are truly a legend. I mean, for what you done, like, and I'm happy I gave you that nickname. You are the blueprint of background vocals, because baby, I couldn't even tell if it was you or Brandy or you just sound just like the records. But I'm truly honored to have you on the platform. And guys, thank you so much for joining me on the 30th anniversary of this beautiful body of work. And thank you, sis Alise, for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you for having me, Chastity and Alise. Thank you all so much.
This is Alise's album, so I said, Alise, you got to join me in here. We got to talk about this, because I know how you go hard for this album, and as much as you love it, but not even that. We just honored to have you, sis. And y'all, we are done with our beautiful interview with the Multi-Platinum Grammy recording member. I gotta say that right. Dove Award.
That's right.
Singer and songwriter. The one and only Sherree Patrice Brown. God bless you. Thank you so much.
You know what? You go in there. Go ahead. Go with your daddy. You're doing too much. You know, she had to get it in. She just had to get it in.
A little bit.
A happy 30th anniversary of this beautiful body of work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.